In this video, we'll dive into the first part of our epic Venice-to-Vienna trip. We're a group of 4 from the Canadian Rockies, and despite having no Via Ferrata experience, we brought a fair amount of mountain knowledge to the adventure. Our trip kicked off on September 1st, 2024, with a plan to tackle some easier Via Ferrata routes before venturing into the deeper Dolomites. This journey spans 23 days, excluding travel days, starting with day 0, when we flew from Calgary to Venice. The airfare was around 1,000 Canadian dollars. On day 1, after landing in Venice, we hopped on a Flixbus to San Vito di Cadore, a charming town just south of Cortina. Staying here was a smart choice as the hotel rates were much cheaper than Cortina, and for only €3, we could easily get to Cortina in about 20 minutes by bus. Tip: you'll want to book your Flixbus tickets ahead of time. The great thing is that the ticket can be used anytime throughout the day, giving you flexibility with your schedule. Once you get off the Flixbus, it's about a 20-minute walk to the hotel, giving you the perfect opportunity to take in the beauty of this little mountain town. Take your time and enjoy the charming atmosphere. We arrived at our hotel, Albergo Dolomiti, around 4 p.m., grabbed some groceries from a nearby supermarket, and settled in. The hotel offered great rates and a wonderful breakfast, with the bus stop conveniently located just outside. No activities were planned for this day, just rest and preparation for the adventure ahead. Day 2, Via Ferrata, on the ski hill. On the second day of our trip, after enjoying a great breakfast, we left the hotel at 8:30 a.m. and took the bus to Cortina. Our goal for the day was to tackle 2 Via Ferrata routes on a ski hill: Via Ferrata, R.A. Pegna, and Ra Bugela. These routes are side by side, separated by a ski run. We started with R.A. Pegna, which is rated as easy and made for a great warm-up. After finishing that, we moved on to Ra Bugela, an easy to moderate Via Ferrata, depending on how much time you have. Instead of taking the chairlift, we hiked up the ski hill to save money, making the experience even more rewarding. Our day usually wrapped up around 5 p.m., giving us plenty of time to enjoy the rest of the evening. Day 3, Via Ferrata Formenton to Tofana di Dentro. On day 3, we took the gondola up and set out to do the Via Ferrata Formenton to Tofana di Dentro. This is a must-do if the weather is favorable, as the route offers stunning views of alpine lakes and uniquely formed mountains. Unfortunately, due to a rock slide, the second half of the route was closed, and the Via Ferrata line had been cut off. This meant we had to retrace our steps. It should take about half a day to complete what's accessible of the route. In the afternoon, we spent time exploring Cortina town, visiting Italian pastry shops, and soaking in the local culture. One important tip: when taking the bus, it's cash only, and you pay the driver directly when boarding.
这个是它因果味道的。
哦，是啊，我以为绿茶，但是我就想，应该不是绿茶。哦，我是不是应该先吃提拉米苏啊？要不然你怎么拿？很小心。
Day 4, trekking to Tre Cime di Lavaredo. On day 4, we took the bus to Refugio Auronzo, the starting point for our adventure in the Tre Cime area. Our first stop was Punto Panoramico Cadini di Misurina, a famous viewpoint that often has a lineup for photos due to the breathtaking scenery. Afterward, we hiked back to Auronzo, continued to Refugio Lavaredo, and finally reached Refugio Locatelli. Make sure to check in before 5 p.m., or your bed might be given away. Dinner is served at 6 p.m. Refugio Locatelli has no Wi-Fi, no showers, and only a basic wash area, so plan ahead. Also, be aware that the hut has no heating, and the blankets are very thin. We highly recommend bringing a light sleeping bag, as we were freezing with just our thin sleeping bag liners and even an extra blanket. If you're extra hungry, you can order additional food, and you can charge your phone at the main bar. Day 5, Via Ferrata Monte Paterno. On day 5, our plan was to tackle Monte Paterno, one of the classic Via Ferrata routes in the Tre Cime area. If the weather is good after dinner, you can take a short walk up the little hill behind Refugio Locatelli. From there, you'll find great spots for some interesting photos, especially at sunset. The hill also has World War I caves, and their locations are marked here, adding a historic touch to the scenic views. It's a great way to cap off the day and prepare for the adventure ahead. Day 6, Via Ferrata, Torre di Toblin. On day 6, we tackled the Torre di Toblin via Ferrata, rated as a moderate difficulty route. Once you start, turning back is tough, so make sure you've had enough practice before attempting it. When we did it, there was a light drizzle, which made the climb a bit nerve-wracking, but we managed. You should finish by noon. Perfect timing for lunch back at Refugio Locatelli. After lunch, it's time to take our large backpack and head to the next hut, Refugio Comici. One of the perks here is the hot shower, a relief after days without. A small tip for dinner. Bring your own water bottle, as water at the table isn't free. We learned this the hard way when we ended up paying €15 for refilling our dinner table water bottle 3 times. The bedding at Comici is much better than at Locatelli, so no cold nights here. However, there's still no Wi-Fi, but you might catch a spotty signal if you have mobile data. It's a cozy spot to recharge for the next leg of the trip. Day 7, via Ferrata Severino Cassara. Please refer to separate video for this. Day 8, via Ferrata Strada degli Alpini. We were originally supposed to stay down in the valley tonight, but about a month before our trip, I realized I'd made a mistake with the booking dates for the hut. So I had to make a last-minute change to our accommodation, and in the end, we're so glad we did.
The dinner was excellent. Our first night out of the mountains felt like a celebration. They had a buffet salad bar, and we lost track of how many plates we went through. That being said, I highly recommend staying somewhere in the valley so your day of hiking out doesn't feel rushed. We were still on the move after 6 p.m. and one section of the train even stopped service. While there was a bus route to our hotel, we opted for a taxi so we wouldn't miss the dinner service. This wraps up the first section of our Italy adventure. Next, we'll be traveling by train to Innsbruck, Austria, to kick off the next leg of our trip. Stay tuned for more.